Hello YouTube, my name's Nero, and today we have some Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, playing a bit of Hardpoint here on the map Skyrise, running around with the MP11 Goliath. And so I relatively recently prestiged, so I actually don't have any attachments or anything for my MP11 in this gameplay whatsoever, but I just decided to go all in for the Hardpoint, all in for the objective throughout the entirety of this match. It was actually my first game on this morning, and I did pretty well. My aim is really sporadic at times. I'm just like spraying like Rambo, you know. But it is a pretty good gameplay overall, playing here on the map Skyrise, which of course is part of the new Supremacy DLC for Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, and is in fact a remake of Highrise from Modern Warfare 2, one of my favorite maps of all time. And I gotta say, I love Skyrise. It is one of the best remastered maps in Call of Duty, in my own personal opinion. So good. They didn't change it around at all. That's the best part. They didn't change around Skyrise compared to Highrise at all. They changed around how it looks. They changed around like the aesthetic to the map, and they made it look like it feels and belongs in Advanced Warfare. That's all they did. But aside from that, the map plays exactly the same as what it did in Modern Warfare 2, and I love that. You know, you look back at Call of Duty Ghost last year when they brought back certain maps. You know, they did a recreation of Scrapyard, they did a recreation of Shipment, and they altered how the maps actually played by adding or subtracting things to those maps. I didn't like how they did that. It's like, leave well enough alone. You know, stop changing things. It was a good map already. Don't mess with it. And they messed with it, and they made the maps a little bit worse. But they didn't do that here in Advanced Warfare. Skyrise is fantastic. It is the second remastered map actually to enter Advanced Warfare, if you count Atlas Gorge, which of course was the pre-order bonus map and a remastered version of Pipeline from Call of Duty 4. We're kind of used to, in Call of Duty DLC anyway, we're kind of used to getting remastered maps as part of our DLC, but in Advanced Warfare so far, we didn't get any remastered maps aside from the pre-order bonus. You know, the first DLC and the second DLC pack, we actually didn't get a remastered map, and some people are like, well, come on, man, let's remake a map here. And then here in the third DLC with the Supremacy DLC, they gave us Skyrise, which is just so freaking good. But the Skyrise aside, let's go ahead and actually start talking about today's topic, which is going to be my review of the Supremacy DLC here in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. So to kind of give you guys a context as to what I've played, I would say I played each of these multiplayer maps that we got with the Supremacy DLC roughly between half a dozen and a dozen times each, with Compound being the least played and Skyrise being the most played. So from what I could tell by the general consensus of the community, because of course there's a voting system in Advanced Warfare, when the maps pop up you get to vote as to which one you would like to play. Whenever Skyrise shows up in the rotation, everybody votes for it seems like, and I actually have a hard time getting people to actually go ahead and vote for Compound. I try really hard because I like Compound personally, but I try getting people to play that map and nobody votes for it. They're just not down for Compound. You know, they really seem to enjoy these maps a bit more. If I had to pick a map that was like the second most popular, I would say maybe Parliament, but Parliament and Kremlin, there's really no distinction between the two in terms of like what people are voting for. You know, they both kind of show up randomly. Again, Skyrise, if it's there, they always seem to take that. If, you know, something like Compound is in the rotation, they're going to pick the map that's not Compound. So it's kind of hard to guess which one would be second, which one would be third, but definitely Compound's the least voted for map, and Skyrise is the most voted for map. So what we're going to be doing here, how I'm going to kind of break this down, is we're going to talk about each map individually, and then of course actually talk about Exo Zombies itself. So this map pack does not actually come with a new weapon, but something to keep in mind is the Supremacy DLC released with no weapon, but just before the Supremacy DLC came out, we actually got the M1 Irons as well as the SAC 1.5s actually released as free DLC. So just kind of keep that in mind. Though we didn't actually get a brand new weapon with this, we do have new weapons in Advanced Warfare that were released just before this DLC comes out, so that shouldn't really sway your opinion too much, I don't think, about the DLC as to whether or not you get good value for it, because of course in the first DLC we get the 84, second DLC we get the OHM, and here, the third DLC, we didn't get a new weapon at all, but keep in mind, once again, we did get the M1 Irons, and we did get the SAC 1.5s, which, of course, you can find in supply drops and advanced supply drops. We got that as free DLC just before this DLC came out, so just kind of keep that in mind. First map we're going to talk about, this map right here, Skyrise. I think I've covered just about everything I want to cover with this map, but I freaking love it. It is so good. I've been praising this thing on Twitter the past couple days. It is just it's such a fantastic remake. It might be one of the best remakes in Call of Duty history, just because it is the exact same map as what we saw in Modern Warfare 2's Highrise, except it just is made to look and feel like it belongs in Advanced Warfare. Of course, the map does play fundamentally a little bit differently, right? That's going to happen because by very nature we have exosuits in this game, right? So it's going to play a little bit differently. But aside from that, it is the exact same map, just scale for scale. Everything is where it should be. It's so good. I really enjoy playing it. Just from a Call of Duty perspective, I enjoy the way the map is open, yet at the same time you can kind of you can flank around, but it's open in close range, depending on what you want to do with it. It's just, in my opinion, such a balanced map, and it's really kind of hard to be objective about it and say, well, this is the reason why this map is good. I can't really say why the map is so good. I think the reason the map is so good for me is because I played tons, and I mean tons of Modern Warfare 2, therefore I played a ton of Highrise. So I know this map inside and out. I know the spawn points. I constantly have like this, this sixth sense as to where the opposing team is going to be, even if we don't have a UAV up, just because I know the map. Like, I can feel it while I'm running around this map. It's like, I know there's going to be people in this area, judging by my teammates being here. It's just everything, it's instinct almost in this map, because I've played it so much, because it is the exact same thing as what they did with Highrise. So if you were a fan of Highrise and Modern Warfare 2, you'll like this map. If you weren't a fan, you probably won't like this map. And if you've never played Modern Warfare 2's Highrise, I'm interested to hear your guys' opinion on the map so far, because I really enjoy it, but I'm inherently biased by the fact that I loved Highrise in Modern Warfare 2. The next map we're going to go ahead and look at is going to be called Kremlin. So Kremlin itself is actually set in Moscow. Now, the map itself, I was actually talking about this, is beautiful. It is a fantastic looking map. You have just so many bright, vibrant colors everywhere. It just feels good to play on the map, to be perfectly honest. And it's also set in Russia, which I like. I just love the setting of the map. I love the aesthetic of the map and how the map looks. But how does it play? I think that's what you guys definitely want to know. Well, keep in mind with the Supremacy DLC, as with all DLCs in Advanced Warfare, for the first bit, we're kind of confined to playing in two playlists. All right, those playlists are going to be the Mosh Pit playlist and Team Deathmatch. And so I can't really play game modes I want to play specifically. Like, if I could pick, I would just play Ground War on all these maps, because that's my favorite game mode to play. And although it's technically 3 game modes thrown together, but still, I enjoy Ground War for the most part. But I'm playing things like Hardpoint, which actually I'm really starting to like Hardpoint. I'm playing Hardpoint, I'm playing Team Deathmatch, I'm playing Uplink, I'm playing, game modes like that a lot, right? Kill Confirmed. And so as a result of that, I've been playing these newer game modes on these maps, and I still feel as though the Kremlin itself plays pretty well. I like the way it played. Now, there is kind of a focal point on that center bridge, and there's definitely been a lot of focus put on and emphasis put on to the 2 middle buildings on that map where you have the turrets, because people just seem to really try to want to take those turrets, or they like to go up in those buildings and actually snipe. Another part of the map is the fact that you actually have like a kill zone, if we should call it that. It's just a portion of the map where occasionally it's going to pop up, and you're basically not going to be able to walk that particular area, or you'll get blown up. I got blown up by it a ton during my map walkthrough, but I've never actually died to it while playing the map in multiplayer. It hasn't really been an issue for me. So the map itself plays pretty good. I enjoy playing on it. It's a very big map. It's one of those maps where if you die on one end of the map, it's going to kind of take you a long time to get back over there. And I kind of like that. I kind of welcome that, because I feel as though Advanced Warfare here has a lot of maps that are very close range. You can kind of get one side of the map to the other very, very quickly, whereas that map is not like that. It's a very much north to south kind of map where you're going to be constantly fighting through waves of enemies just to get towards the back part of the map if you want to. There's no real flanking on that very much. It's a very north and south style map. The next map we're going to be talking about is going to be Parliament. So Parliament itself is actually set next to the Westminster building, and what's kind of interesting about it is it has nothing to do with the Westminster building at all. It has nothing to do with the United Kingdom as well. It basically is a ship. It's a cargo ship, and everything else there is just background. How does it play? It's a very symmetrical map, and I like that. I love the fact that it is a symmetrical map. I love the fact that for the most part you always have an idea, or at least a general clue as to where the opposing team is going to be. I like that about the map. I find that it's actually a map that you can do whatever it is you really want to do on it. I found that I could use a submachine gun on that map pretty effectively. I found that if I wanted to use kind of a sit back and pick people off kind of rifle like the ARX 160, I could do that on that map as well, especially if I was near where the B flag is a lot of the time in Domination. I could definitely go there quite often and do pretty well with that, as well as it's one of those maps where you can really play however you want with your playstyle, but keep in mind there's going to be a lot of long lines of sight. And so as a result of that, I found using things like the ARX 160 on that map definitely was very, very nice, because I was able to take these people out at such long ranges. Things like the H-Power A3, AK-12, ARX 160, just your general assault rifles, perhaps even some heavy weapons. I was really enjoying using those on that map. But the map itself feels great. You got rain coming down. I love when maps have weather to it. Going back once again to Kremlin, there's snow coming down on that map. And when you look at Parliament, you got rain coming down on that map. And it's a nice, cool feeling map, because you feel like you're in this cool environment when you're actually playing through it. And it plays pretty well. I didn't notice the spawn system being very, very bad. I actually found it to be pretty good. It was actually pretty predictable as to where the opposing team was going to be and where you were going to spawn, where your teammates were and stuff. So I found Parliament actually overall to be a very good map. And Compound is going to be the 4th map we're actually going to be covering today. Now, Compound, like I said, is the map that I played the least of, because it's the map that nobody seems to vote for when it shows up in the map rotation. Now, personally, in my experience, I played a couple games of Team Deathmatch on it, I played a couple games of Uplink on it, and I ended up playing one game of Domination on it, right? And I found that map is ridiculously fast-paced. Like they said in the trailer, it is a very fast-paced map. Just by design, it is a very, very, very fast map, and I liked it, to be honest, because I've recently started using the S12 just to try it out, because I never really played around with it that much, and I don't want to get off topic or talk about the S12 too much, but I really kind of like the S12. And it works out very well on that map. Shotguns work out well on that map, submachine guns work out well on that map. It's very, very fast-paced, where you're constantly going to be flanking people, and people might be constantly flanking you, but at the same time, I wasn't constantly being shot in the back like I kind of expected I would be. I was actually the one doing most of the shooting in the back, because I understood the layout of the map very quickly. It's one of those maps where I did my map walkthrough of it, and just from that, I knew that map inside and out already from one walkthrough of it. So immediately, my first game playing that map in the multiplayer, I knew exactly where everything was, knew exactly where I wanted to go, how to get to places. It was actually pretty cool. But once again, it seems as though, for whatever reason, the general community says, you know, this is the map that we like the least, because in my experience anyway, it's the map that people vote for the least, even though every time it shows up, I'm trying to vote for it, because I want to try and have, you know, the best opinions possible for these review videos, because I want to actually play on the map a bunch so I can develop a full opinion on it. And it's kind of hard to develop a whole opinion on the map when you've only played it, you know, 4 or 5 times. But I tried to get in there as much as I could, but just nobody would ever vote for it. So personally, I think the Compound's a pretty good map. I had no real complaints for it. It's very close range. You know, if you're a sniper, you're probably gonna have difficulty on that map, because it's very, 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 very fast. And if you're like a guy that likes using an assault rifle, like once again, ARX 160s, IMRs, like a sit back, pick people off kind of guy, you might have difficulty on that map in particular. But if you like submachine guns, if you like shotguns, if you like fast-paced action, that's what that map is designed for, and they delivered on that design philosophy. It's a very good map in that respect. So to kind of review the maps, I think all 4 maps are honestly pretty good. I've enjoyed my time playing on every single one of these maps. So going back to what we discussed earlier, the one downside I found on these maps is usually when a brand new DLC map comes out, or a brand new DLC pack comes out, usually the community's trying out the brand new weapon, and so everyone's playing with this new weapon on these new maps. So that's not really been the case so far, because everybody is kind of over the M1 irons at this point. So everyone's running around with their Ball 27s and their ASM1s and things like that. So I was actually able to get a pretty accurate representation of what these maps are going to be like when they're thrown into the, you know, actual map rotation. And even while facing these people using, you know, the Ball 27 ASM1, which they still haven't nerfed, they still haven't fixed those guns, it's still fun for me to play on these maps while running around with my MP11s, but running around with my S12s, you know, running around with stuff like that, and I still enjoy playing on the maps. That definitely speaks to the character of these multiplayer maps. My own personal opinion, I love the maps. I think they're all very, very good, and this is coming from somebody who generally doesn't like playing the new DLC playlist a whole lot, just because I'd rather play Groundwork. That's my preferred game of choice. But I don't care when I go on these maps, because I just enjoy playing on them. I don't care that I have to play Hardpoint, 'cause I'm actually starting to enjoy Hardpoint. I don't care that I have to play Uplink, 'cause I'm starting to enjoy Uplink. I don't care. I still kind of care I have to play Team Deathmatch, because personally I'm just not much of a Team Deathmatch guy, but still, I get to play all these game modes on all of these new maps, and I'm really enjoying my time with this. So in my own personal opinion, the Supremacy DLC, I'm loving the 4 multiplayer maps so far. And Exo Zombies Carrier, let's talk about that a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about Exo Zombies Carrier. So the map itself is a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. So initially I'm like, just from like what we saw from like the trailer, I was like, why is it that we're going to be on a boat, and I have a feeling we're going to spend most of our time on this boat indoors, and it's not even going to feel like we're really on a boat. But they didn't do that. They did not do that at all. They actually made it so there's a lot of portions of that map where you're actually going to be able to be outside. You can see the ocean. There's lots of cool, creepy stuff. And what I think is the coolest part is really speaks to the design team and the art team over there at Sledgehammer, is that map is very open. The map itself is set in the ocean. During the daytime, you hear seagulls in the background and stuff, and yet, at the exact same time, I honestly think it's the creepiest of the 3 Exo Zombie maps that have been released so far. I think it's the creepiest one. There is some really, really creepy stuff on that map. Now, I'm not going to try and spoil it, because I want you guys to experience it for yourselves if you plan on buying the DLC. But there's some very creepy stuff on that map. If you actually take the time to walk around and smell the roses a bit, it's really, really creepy. And the entire story of what's going on is, I actually think that's pretty creepy and pretty interesting as well. So I'm somebody that hasn't, you know, seen any of these cutscenes, right? I haven't seen the cutscenes. I haven't done any of these strikes. I'm just a very casual Exo Zombies player, so I don't know too much about the story and the background and all the things that are happening. But the little knowledge I do know, It's freaking creepy, man. It's pretty creepy, everything that's happening on that boat and everything that's going to be happening in the future. It all looks pretty good. It's all been pretty fun. And honestly, guys, I'm not trying to sound like a brown noser here, but Sledgehammer Games, they blew me away with this DLC. I was not expecting it to be that great. It's been fantastic. I honestly think it's the best DLC that Advanced Warfare has actually put out so far. Once again, we didn't get a brand new weapon, but that's okay, because the brand new weapons that we actually get with the DLC usually aren't like make or break weapons. The AE4 and the OHM, they're fun guns, but are they by far like the most used and most powerful weapons in the game? No, they're just decent guns that you can play around with if you would like to. And the M1 Irons that we got right before this DLC, is it the best gun ever? No, but it's a fun gun to play with occasionally. So I don't really care, I suppose, that we didn't get a brand new weapon with this DLC, because we got 4 fantastic maps and a really good Exo Zombies map. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be my review. If I had to make a suggestion as to whether or not you guys should purchase this particular DLC, I would say it's probably worth it. It's for me personally, I am more than happy with my decision to actually get this. I've enjoyed my time playing it, and the reason why this video is going up later on tonight than I expected it to be is because I got on this morning to start playing on these maps, kind of refresh my memory before I did this review video and stuff, and I didn't want to stop. I ended up playing the multiplayer for like 2.5 hours, something like that, and I'm like, okay, I should get some footage of Exo Zombies as well, kind of do some refreshers on that, and I went and started playing solo, and next thing you know, I'm like 45 minutes into a zombies match. It's like, okay, I need to stop playing now. I need to actually start recording some stuff and start getting that review up tonight, because I don't want it going up super duper late, So that's how good the DLC is, guys. I've really been enjoying my playtime with it. I've actually been neglecting things like, I've been neglecting eating, because I'd rather just sit there and continue playing. I've been neglecting making videos, because it's like I'd rather just continue to sit there and play on these new maps and stuff. So it's a very good DLC in my opinion. If you guys want to purchase it, feel free. You have my blessing. If you were here to see whether or not I feel as though you should buy it, I would say it's worth it. It's a very fun DLC in my own personal opinion. Of course, everybody's held their own opinion, and everybody has different tastes. So be sure to go ahead and check out other people's reviews of the DLC and see whether or not this DLC may be for you. Once again, if you guys haven't checked this stuff out, I have full walkthroughs of the maps on my YouTube channel. That way you can get a good look at the map just by me walking through the maps in a private match and showing you like literally every square inch that there is to see on the maps. You guys go ahead and do that as well. That way you can kind of, get more information as to what the maps are going to be like. So go ahead and check that out if you guys would like to. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys all found it helpful and informative. Remember to leave a rating. Thank you guys all for watching, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.